Okay. Now we will get to the Shakti, to Forge Forward. You will have to ask him why he calls it Forge Forward. It's a very good story. And it's a Shakti group which has set up this DST incubator. But one thing which Dipanvita didn't mention, apart from the fact that they have invested and set up this facility on their own, they have also closed a substantially large grant from the government. So they have
104 crores.
huh?
Some more.
Yeah. So and they have run this tech park for a long while, so they have a fairly good roadmap. They have a fairly good idea about it. All right.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Vishwanath, co-founder of Forge Accelerator. We think of Forge as an innovation accelerator. It's promoted by the foundation set up by the Shakti Group, one of the largest business groups in the Coimbatore region, with support from DST, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. The institution is called Coimbatore Innovation and Business Incubator, and we think of Forge more as a brand. So CIBI is the company and Forge is the brand. We're based in Coimbatore. We're about a year functional now. We have a 10,000 square feet hub for startups and for innovators. We call it the Forge Factory. It's a fully integrated setup where startups with ideas can come in and rapidly prototype their software as well as hardware products. So IoT, computing, 3D, PCB, and several other basic technology infrastructure and resources are being offered, apart from many other services and intervention, which is what I'll talk about. At our core, as I said, we think of ourselves more as an accelerator and a fund. Of course, there is the co-working infrastructure, there are the boot camps that we do, there are various other evangelism and activation and other forms of intervention that we do in the larger ecosystem. We work with plenty of partners. We work with CIIE for their Economic Times Power of Ideas. We work with United Seed Fund, Startup Oasis, plenty of other partners where we engage with startups on helping them with business model design, business planning, business strategy. So we have this framework called the minimum viable business. We think of it as a framework to convert ideas into enterprises. So we do these 3-day boot camps for startups for about a year now. We've conducted over 30 boot camps. Over 500 startup founders have gone through our boot camp. So beyond all of that, all of that is very important because we are in Coimbatore. It's very important for us to gain very strong credibility because the catchment that we will have to depend, if it's only Coimbatore, is very limited. And for our own business model to be viable and to be sustainable very soon, we'll have to depend on a much larger catchment. So it's important for us to have a play way beyond Coimbatore, and that's what we've been doing. So the founding team, myself, Shankar, and a few others, when we sort of got together, we said, like everybody else, in the global ecosystem, we looked at the real power of technology at the intersection of hardware and software technologies, and we said, here is the opportunity to do something really big from Coimbatore, the truly original entrepreneurial city in India, by far. And what can we do sitting in Coimbatore to help the next generation of innovators and entrepreneurs to harness technology, software technology, hardware technology, and to really help them solve problems at scale, right? So we looked at this, and then the way we define our focus areas is largely the three innovation domains. So we talk in terms of connected devices, we talk in terms of industrial internet, and digital businesses. Particularly industrial internet, is interesting because Coimbatore has a huge manufacturing sector across multiple, segments of engineering goods, pumps, motors, and valves, industrial controls. I see Ganesh Devraj sitting here in the audience. He comes from, one of the top business groups in Coimbatore, having a legacy of several thousand crores of businesses in the engineering manufacturing space. So that's the sort of captive opportunity that we can offer to startups no matter where you are from, right? So we look at industrial internet in a very big way, and also digital businesses. So if you can sort of look at this as being a continuum, right? On the one end, you have extreme hardware technology innovation solutions, and on the other side, you have more pure play software. So we wish to basically straddle this space and to be useful and meaningful to innovators across the spectrum. Now, thanks to hacks, we've pretty much understood this fact. Hardware is not hard, right? A year ago, when we were making, on-the-ground plans, when it came to hardware, we said, you know what, this is inspiring. Hardware is not hard. But we actually would like to believe that hardware is also not enough, right? And we're still inspired by hacks. That hasn't changed, yeah? Now, the way we think of this is something like this. So the value is clearly beyond devices, right? Now, the business model of selling devices, asset sale, MRP, if the potential is X, then the potential to sell everything else, hardware as a service, content, applications, that's a million times X. That's where we want to put our money in. That's where we want to put our focus. That's where we want to meaningfully move the needles when it comes to startups, right? So it's not just a question of helping you go from an idea to a prototype. It's also a question of working with you on your product potential, market potential, and business potential, right? Now, the greatest disruptive innovations that have ever come in the past and are going to happen in the future, particularly in India, is going to have one pattern, and that's our sort of thesis, right? So we're going to see startups becoming billion-dollar unicorns in the hardware space that do this, which is simultaneously move the needle on cost, quality, and access, which is simultaneously make immense gains on cost, quality, and access, right? So now how do you do that, right? Of course, you'll have to look at the power of technology, IoT, and we spoke about all of those technologies and different trends and different opportunities that have come up. We did a lot of that in the past 2 days. But it's not just a question of technology. It's not just a question of how well-designed your product is. But it's largely a question of the pricing model, the payment model, the distribution, the logistics, and largely it comes down to the business model, right? So we would, as much as put focus on helping you go from an idea to prototype, what we really want to do is to help you nail some of these things as early as possible, right? So, these are going to be the buzzwords when you engage with Forge, right? We're going to talk about the utility of your solution, the usability, the affordability, the defensibility, and the scalability, right? I'm not sure, I can see a few investor friends in the audience. I'm not sure what else can make hardware startups truly investable, right? I'm just trying to summarize, in my, words, this is my codified form of what I think is going to be the success criteria for startups to become investable. So the organizing goal, if I will, can engage, Benji here, is basically, can we put some of our, startups into the hacks cohort? Right? And if we can do that in the next 6 months to 1 year, I think that's a worthwhile milestone for not just Forge, but possibly everyone else that I share the podium with here, and many other people that I see in the audience. I see Revex, I see Avinash sitting there. So for all of us, if we can do this, I think that's a worthwhile goal, for us to go after, right? And our program strategy and the other things, I'll leave it for questions.
But you didn't answer why you call it Forge Forward.
Okay, so all right. So basically, we think of Forge Forward as a play on the word fast forward, right? So so the fast forward is how do you look at rapid forward movement. So we took the fast forward double arrow symbol, and then we forged it with the gear wheel. So combination of that looks like the logo that I'm wearing on my sleeve. So it's not fast forward, it's Forge Forward.